The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And the snow is hitting the Tug Hill pretty hard right now.
Yes, heavy snow, and if you're heading in that direction, have any travel plans today, I don't recommend doing so.
Yeah, be careful, that's for sure.
Let's take a look at what's going on outside right now. Again, outside of the Tug Hill area, let's dive into the current conditions where it is still very cold. We got some wind chills near zero this morning. In fact, negative 12 wind chill out in Buffalo. -5 up at Saranac Lake, -3 Johnstown, -10 down in Binghamton. So as you're putting the kids on the bus today, make sure they have some of those heavier winter jackets on. It's going to be a cold one for much of the day throughout the morning and afternoon. So if you're wondering, travel conditions on the New York State Thruway heading westbound towards Syracuse. The snow band is outside of the area. You are not expecting any sudden whiteouts here, but quite a difference as we take a look at a live camera from the Mesonet Network in Belleville up in Jefferson County with some heavy lake effect snow falling right now. Let's take a look at the radar. You can see generally it's right north of the Oneida County, Lewis County line, just north of Boonville here. The good news was that the potential southward shift here was not as significant as some of the models are showing, which we were expecting, but just that uncertainty as to how lake effect's been behaving this year put us on edge here. But regardless, it is trending to stay in this general vicinity here around the Tug Hill Plateau, Lewis County, Jefferson County, Oswego County, basically right along the border there where that bullseye usually hits. Heading into Herkimer County too, north of Old Forge, potentially inlet. Could be getting hit at least a little bit here, right along that south edge here. So that's what's going on right now today. In fact, it remains north. You can see here locally in the Mohawk Valley, we could even see some sunshine today. So it's a tale of two worlds here in New York State, as with any weather phenomenon. Highs will be in the teens, wind chills remaining in the single digits pretty much all day, so make sure you dress accordingly. We'll be diving into how long that lake effect lasts, how much more additional snow we could see, and then following that, how the rest of the week is shaping up straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And because of that massive snowfall up north, state agencies are getting ready. Here are the numbers. State DOT says statewide more than 1,800 plow trucks have been made available, along with 341 large loaders and 35 snow blowers. All DOT houses will be staffed around the clock. The Thruway Authority has its own 343 plows, 63 loaders, and 122,000 tons of salt on hand. They have 687 operators ready to go if they are needed. But again, as Eric mentioned, the brunt of this storm is to our north. Rome police plan to increase.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Tuesday morning. Good morning, everybody. It is a cold start today. How cold? Well, let's take a look right here in your quick forecast in a minute as you head out the doors early this morning. And officially at Griffinson Rome, temperatures on paper at 14 degrees, a decent westerly wind of 10 miles an hour, bringing that feels like temperature down to 1 degree from frigid to basically a degree shy of Arctic this morning. In the meantime, the roadways not too bad out there this morning. They are pretty dry. In fact, the only snowfall we are currently seeing is taking place mainly north of the Oneida County line early this morning, and it's expected to stay that way. No moving south, no southward trend, no whiteouts along the Thruway. But if you are heading up north along Route 12 or I-81, either heading through Mansville, Adams, or heading up toward Lowville north of Turin, either way, you're going to be encountering some significant snowfall that could at least cause some travel impacts. You can see here some slowdowns already reported right along Route 12. Again, just south of Lowville. So the winds are strengthening today. The temperatures remaining in the teens, wind chills hovering in the single digits. But again, more importantly is that snowfall. Will there be any more? Will there be any that we see in the Mohawk Valley? We'll be showing that forecast here in a couple of minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. All 50 states are gearing up to celebrate America's
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Time now is 5:18, and we begin today on the colder side. Wind chills near zero or below zero, with some heavy lake effect snow to our north. Let's again dive into it here. If you're just tuning in, this is where that snow is currently falling. It is not expected to fall into the Mohawk Valley today. It is expected to remain in this general vicinity for much of the daytime today, dumping several feet of snow by the end of this overall event here, spanning until Wednesday morning, and even more snow following that later this week. Also, another mention here too, some lake effect taking place along the Thruway corridor just south of Buffalo, heading out toward Erie, Pennsylvania. So both Great Lakes pumping out some serious snow today. Downtown Utica, currently it's not snowing. In fact, you might even look out in the night sky and see some stars too. It's clearing out here and there as well. And we could even see some sunshine opportunities as well. But notice here, there are a few locations on the Mesonet camera network that are showing some snowfall. Pretty easy to spot here, don't they? Heading up to Old Forge, even Whiteface, seeing some remnant snowfall up there. But again, in Belleville is where some of that heaviest snow is currently falling, right off of I-81 between Syracuse and Watertown. So, not only are we seeing lake effect, but this is the effect, no pun intended, of a much larger impact system to be arriving this weekend. This is an Arctic air mass, and we see them typically in late January, early February. It doesn't happen every year, but of course it's the timing. This is the coldest time of the year. Basically, that Arctic air will be dislodging from the poles and heading farther south, impacting us toward this weekend, which will be producing some significantly cold days Saturday and Sunday. So in terms of snowfall, as you can see here, that snow band generally staying north of the Oneida County line today. By tonight, that band will shift its way north, hitting Watertown and then weakening. Tomorrow, it starts out dry. We're going to see a brief round or two of some light snow showers with some at least more notable accumulations north of the New York State Thruway here due to upsloping. And then a round of some snow showers early Thursday morning around 4 a.m., so likely before a lot of your morning commutes tomorrow. But then by Thursday, we're going to see some scattered snow showers for more heavy snowfall that begins to set up again north as we head into Thursday night and Friday. So in terms of snowfall, I mean, this is from 7 p.m. last night until 7 a.m. Wednesday. I figured I'm not going to change the maps here. It might get a bit confusing. This is the general map we put out last night, and it will continue until tomorrow morning, where we could see several feet of snow in that zone there. Your 7-day forecast. So besides the lake effect snow later this week, as I mentioned, it's cold. We decided to make it alert days just because of the wind chills, Gary. I think pretty much the entire day, Saturday and Sunday, wind chills will be below zero and likely double digits below zero in some spots. So it's going to be incredibly cold, and that's something that could be warranting at least alert days.
Definitely keep an eye on that.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Coming up, the prices for good morning once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Just an hour or so north and west of us, we are talking snow in feet today. But Eric, here in the Mohawk Valley, nothing at all, right?
Yeah, pretty quiet here locally, Gary. But regardless, it's pretty cold out there this morning. We take a look at those wind chills early today, and we are hovering right around the 0 degree mark. -4 in Johnstown, and at 0 in Watertown was that snow starting to fall up there. So let's dive into that forecast here. So we look at the Thruway corridor. This is not impacting areas, especially westbound if you're heading out towards Syracuse. But you see here a live view from Belleville in Jefferson County. The Mesonet camera here reporting some significant snowfall. And there it is right along that band mainly north of the Oneida County line. We zoom out. This is, of course, a multi-lake type scenario here coming off of Lake Erie, heading up toward Lake Ontario. You zoom in here, this will impact mainly I-81, the Tug Hill Plateau, and Route 12, the very narrow band just north of Inlet early today. In fact, is maybe a mile or so north of the town of Inlet up north, so very close call early today. But in the meantime, here in the Mohawk Valley, temperatures are in the teens, wind chills in the single digits or below zero today. But it is dry. In fact, we could even see some sunshine. So I guess not too bad here today. Just bundle up. The next few days, though, we're going to be tracking some more snow chances and some very frigid, downright Arctic weather arriving later this week. We'll have the details on that straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump.
News Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
Welcome back to Sunrise here on this Tuesday morning. To start out, before we show our photo of the day today, let's talk about some main topics this morning. If you are heading out, just tuning in. Well, first off, we have some heavy lake effect snow taking place north of the Oneida County line today, generally staying in that direction, meaning in the Mohawk Valley, it's quiet and cold, with some sunshine chances here and there, but overall temperatures remaining in the single digits, at least wind chills in the single digits. Even colder weather on the way later this week toward the weekend. We'll, of course, be talking about that here shortly. But in the meantime, we had a rare solar storm hit the Earth last night, and it was enough to produce visible northern lights here locally. Yes, even despite being in the cloudy area here in New York State, we got some clearing, allowing for a great shot of the northern lights sent in by Casey here in Richfield Springs. Great shot right here of the northern lights. And if you have one like this you'd like to share with us, your northern lights photos you potentially took last night, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Your photo every day brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Casey Green at Richfield Springs.
Great shot.
Yeah, that's for sure. Eric, thanks. The college football play.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Time now 5:51, and we start the day today with quiet weather in the Mohawk Valley, but significant lake effect snow off of Tug Hill. Let's take a look right now at the radar, where you can see that heavy snow still hovering in that general vicinity. It is shifting its way north toward Watertown in the last, I would say, hour or so, but still the heaviest snow is taking place right here along the Oswego-Jefferson County line. Also, just a heads up, too, there's even some more snow falling in the vicinity south of Buffalo along Lake Erie in that thruway corridor there. Downtown Utica, a live view outside right now. It's overall, again, a quiet morning here locally. And despite that, though, obviously you look up north, a different story. Old Forge reporting snow showers. Osceola actually outside that intense snow band, but you head toward Belleville where, I mean, you just got some heavy snow continuing to fall in some of these areas just off of Lake Ontario. So despite the heavy snow expected in this area here in New York State, the bigger story, I think, for us in the Mohawk Valley won't necessarily be the snowfall. It'll be the intense Arctic cold arriving this weekend. Look at that air mass here. Now, this is not it would be an atypical below average trend. This is not something that never happens in late January, early February, but regardless, it's going to be very cold to the point where some temperatures, or at least wind chills, will fall into the negative double digits for at least a very large chunk of time throughout the weekend. In the meantime, though, let's just be talking about the snowfall up north, which again remains north for much of the day today. It shifts even farther north into Watertown before weakening, before more light snow showers arrive tomorrow in the early afternoon. Some at least more notable accumulations north of the New York State Thruway. Then a brief round of snow arrives early Thursday morning, likely before a lot of the early morning commuters, and then a few scattered snow showers Thursday, and then more intense lake effect returns again north as we head into Thursday night. So when we were mentioning some impactful snowfall here, I think this is probably justified for impactful. By the end of this event here, some spots picking up 2 to 4 feet in that pink zone, 1 to 2 feet in the red, and 6 to 12 inches in the blue zone right there. Your 7-day forecast, I mentioned that the potential higher impact of this system will be this weekend, and sure enough, we think that is warranting alert days with temperatures plummeting quickly, double digits below zero on paper overnights, and wind chills likely significantly colder. We'll be right back.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we are talking feet of snow just to an hour away from us. It's
Yes.
crazy how we're getting nothing and they're getting slammed.
The joys of lake effect, Gary. And yeah, we had some pretty intense snow up north, and regardless, all of us, cold start today, very cold.
Yeah.
Heading out the door this morning, here's what you can expect. And we're just walking into the building today. I was got a bit of a reminder that it is still the middle of winter time, and these wind chills definitely convey that. We are near or below zero in a lot of spots here across New York State. Pretty much all of New York State, or at least upstate New York, in that single digit or below zero trend. The Thruway corridor, well, it appears that all the cameras went down at the same time, but regardless, what I can tell you right now is that the snow is not impacting the New York State Thruway. But you head up north in Jefferson County at Belleville, some pretty significant snowfall. Let's take a look at the radar right here, and you can see snow coming down pretty good right north of the Oneida County line. There's also a multi-lake setup right here heading out toward western New York. You zoom in here, there's a general slight northward trend here toward Watertown. Regardless, if you are traveling along Route 12 or I-81 today, either don't, or if you have to, drive carefully, because there's some intense snow falling right along that band there. But the overall trend is it will remain north. In fact, barely hovering north of Inlet right now. A few snow showers heading out toward Old Forge as well. But regardless, here in the Mohawk Valley, we are not expecting any of that lake effect snow today. Temperatures remaining in the teens, wind chills in the single digits or below zero today, so still very cold. But we are tracking even colder days ahead toward the end of the week, and some more snow chances. We'll be diving into that here shortly. Gary?
Colder than this morning, huh?
Colder than this morning.
Wow. Eric, thanks. Well, state agencies are prepared for the heavy snow up north. Here are the numbers. The state DOT says they have more than 1,800 plow trucks available, along with 341 large loaders and 35 snow blowers. All DOT houses will be staffed around the clock. And the Thruway Authority has its own 343 plows, 63 loaders, and 122,000 tons of salt on hand. They have 687 operators ready to go if they are needed. But again, as Eric mentioned, the biggest hit to this is up to our north and west. They're seeing feet of snow today. Rome police plan to increase their presence at Straub.
Welcome back. Time now 6:11 on your Tuesday morning. Pretty cold start today. That's a pretty evident here locally. But as we look ahead to the week, that cold will continue, at least potentially some less cold wind chills. But regardless, it's going to be an active one in terms of snowfall here and there. Here's a look at your forecast in a minute. Currently, temperatures at 14 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. We have a 9-mile-an-hour westerly wind, so that feels like temperature at 2 degrees. And in some spots this morning, below zero. So it is a cold start to your day today. A look at traffic cameras this morning. We do have dry conditions across the area. The only exception being to our north and well to the west out toward Buffalo. As you can see here, some significant lake effect hitting the Tug Hill Plateau, mainly along the Oswego, Jefferson County line into Lewis County, impacting West Turin, Richland, Mansville, and then heading toward Lowville. So if you are heading in the vicinity of Route 12 or I-81, expect some slowdowns here along those roads, especially early this morning. And then on top of that, of course, another road to watch out for, Route 28. However, a lot of that snowfall is staying north of Old Forge and inlet right now, at least the heaviest of it. Today, the winds are increasing, keeping those wind chills still bitterly cold. We have more details on a colder stretch of weather this weekend, and of course, before that, even more lake effect. We'll be diving into where that falls and how much we could see straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. All 50 states are gearing up to celebrate.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Tuesday. Today we start out quiet, cold, I would say even frigid in some parts. And then, of course, with the elephant in the room being that heavy lake effect snow, heading north and west of us. Let's take a look right now at the radar. We can see where that snow is currently falling here. Heavy snow along the I-81 corridor here to the north, right in between Syracuse, actually maybe closer to Oswego and Watertown in that section here in the foothills and the plateau itself of Tug Hill. So that's what's taking place here locally. There's some additional snowfall coming off of Lake Erie. Downtown Utica, as you can see here, is quiet. We are not expecting any of that lake effect snow here today, at least in the Mohawk Valley. We have some sunshine chances and even cold temperatures being the main story here locally. But you can see here some of the cameras picking up some snow showers near Whiteface, Old Forge, and then, of course, as you head farther south, it is completely quiet. But one camera to pinpoint here, Belleville in Jefferson County. Here's a live view of it where the snow is still currently falling at that weather station there, and it will continue to fall for quite some time today. So the big story today, for obvious reasons in sections of New York State, is the heavy snowfall. But here in the Mohawk Valley, I think the much larger story is what takes place later this week. We have an Arctic air mass basically right over the Northeast. It hasn't shifted its way south just yet, but it is right on our doorstep, and this is what's influencing this intense snowfall. Later on in the season, as the Great Lakes get colder, you need colder air to produce intense lake effect snow. The same temperatures that you would see in December wouldn't be causing this type of scenario unless you have, again, some very cold air mass. So that's what's taking place later on this week once that Arctic air shifts into the area by Saturday and Sunday. In the meantime, though, today you can see it's mainly snowy north, maybe some snow showers in the southern valleys from Lake Erie. However, it'll likely be very weak by the time it reaches the areas in Shenango and Otsego County. Then it's quiet tonight. We do expect some light snow showers tomorrow, mainly accumulations north of New York State Thruway, and then a brief round of snow early Thursday morning before more scattered snow showers return in the afternoon, and then overnight Thursday, more lake effect snow north near Tug Hill again. So this is the general idea of snowfall for today. This is a lot of snow in a very small area in the Tug Hill region. But again, look at that sharp drop-off. You had Oneida County in a lot of spots, basically none expected. So that's the story for snow today. We have additional snow chances the rest of the week, and then the cold really sets in. Those wind chills this weekend, Gary, will be bone-chilling temperatures several degrees below zero, wind chills double digits below zero, even potentially during the daytime. So definitely a return to some very cold
Yeah,
temperatures.
at least it's on the weekend, right?
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Well, just an hour or so north of us, we are talking feet of snow, and Eric, right here in the Mohawk Valley, not much at all, so it's kind of wild to see 2 to 4 feet just an hour away.
Yeah, it's crazy. Near whiteout conditions heading up toward Belleville and the Tug Hill Plateau. Here locally, you might even see some stars in the night sky. So quite a different story here, yeah. But the main thing, at least early this morning as you head outside, obviously we're not seeing that intense snow in the Mohawk Valley right now, but it is very cold. Wind chills near or below zero. And in fact, if, for example, you're heading westbound along the New York State Thruway, here's a look at the live cameras, and to show you that so far this morning, the roadways are dry, at least along the Thruway corridor early today. A different story in Belleville, where again that heavy snow is still currently falling in the Tug Hill area. Yorkville Battery Live radar showing that taking place to our north and to our west. Now, the overall trend is it is shifting its way north a little bit. It is not expected to shift its way south. So you can see here some heavy snow right along the Oswego-Jefferson County line. There was some intense snow basically just north of Inlet. It is wobbling south a little bit. So those of you along Route 28 between Old Forge and Inlet might see some of that snow impact the roads up there. Next 12 hours, highs in the teens. However, wind chills will be in the single digits for much of the day today, and on top of that, we have some sunshine chances as well. So despite all that snow north, a much different story here locally. But we do expect some more snow chances later this week, as well as some significant cold. We'll be diving into that here in a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks, and don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. President Trump is upping the...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. If you were just tuning in this morning, a few things to talk about today. To start, we have some heavy lake effect snow north and west of Utica in the Tug Hill area. This is not expected to hit the Mohawk Valley. It'll stay north for the entire day today. What will be in the Mohawk Valley today is some sunshine and some frigid temperatures. Keep in mind our wind chills today will likely barely hit the double digits. It'll be single digits near or below zero for the entire day today. So make sure you grab some of those extra layers getting out the door this morning. And despite that, we have even colder temperatures arriving later this week. So we're definitely in the thick of winter here in central New York. So our photo of the day today brings us to the night sky and a great shot of the northern lights last night. We were treated to a scene of a solar storm last night, a rare, strong one that allows those more difficult hues of red to be seen with the naked eye, but of course with cameras that have better exposure. You can see that here. This was taken by Casey in Richfield Springs. If you have any photos you'd like to share with us regarding the Northern Lights, send to WKTV.com/weather/pics. And your photo today every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Now, we are expecting some cold temperatures to continue as we look ahead to the rest of the week, as well as, of course, that lake effect snow. So a lot of things to talk about over the next few minutes. And beyond that, we're going to be diving into that snow forecast for the Tug Hill as you look ahead to this afternoon. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Trump administration...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Time now is 6:50, and we begin today with a very cold start. In the meantime, to our northwest, heavy lake effect snow is currently falling in the Tug Hill area. Let's zoom in here. We have some of that intense snow falling mainly along the Jefferson-Oswego County line here, producing difficult travel conditions in that zone. Also, we have some snow showers out in the Buffalo area this morning. It could be treated to a pretty nice sunrise today, but regardless of the color in the morning sky, it's a cold start today. Wind chills several degrees below zero in some spots and remaining around zero for the entire day today. Mesonet cameras reporting snow showers mainly north. Where the brunt of the snow is still currently falling is in Belleville. A live view from Jefferson County here. You can see that snow continuing. And despite the heavy snow north and west, when it comes to the biggest impacts here in the Mohawk Valley over the next few days, it'll be less about the snow and more about the cold. We have an Arctic air mass directly above us. This is supplying us with the prime conditions for intense lake effect snow throughout the week, mainly again just west of Lake Ontario. But it'll eventually sweep its way south and east, hitting us this weekend with intense cold. Nothing outlandish, maybe setting daily records, but this is a cold setup that we could also typically see in late January, early February. It doesn't happen every year, but it does happen. But you can see the intense snow staying north of the United County line. It shifts north and weakens overnight. Tomorrow, a quiet sunny start with some snow showers arriving in the afternoon, mainly accumulating north of New York State Thruway. Brief snow showers Thursday and return to some more snowfall, mainly north as we head into Thursday night and into Friday. In terms of snowfall, you can see here a lot of snow in a very small area around the Tug Hill Plateau. Pink area 2 to 4 feet, 6 to 12 in the dark blue zones, 3 to 6 inches in the light blue areas. And this weekend, you can see here, look at the wind chills for Saturday morning. In the Utica, Mohawk Valley area, 20 to 30 below zero, 30 to 45 below zero wind chills as you head into the Adirondacks. So that's what we're dealing with, and that's why we have the weekend as alert days, both Saturday and Sunday. On paper, we are in the single digits, but more or less, it is an incredibly cold stretch of weather for the weekend, so plan accordingly, and maybe might have to take precautions in terms of making sure the pipes don't freeze.
That's for sure. We'll keep an eye on things this weekend. Eric, thanks. Well, if you didn't stay up late last night,
with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric.
And what a difference between here and an hour north. Those folks still dealing with some snow.
Yeah, intense snow, which is still falling at this hour. In fact, we'll take a look at that here in a second. Regardless, around the state, it is still incredibly cold. We are in the below zero range and expected to remain in that below zero range with that wind chill still bitterly cold, in fact, Arctic. Now, again, we were mentioning, we got that lake effect moving its way through the northern parts of New York State. And a reminder that it's not actually impacting, for example, a typical trouble spot when we have lake effect snow, which would be the Thruway out towards Syracuse. But downtown Utica, you can see a pretty quiet scene here locally. However, it's a much different story in some locations, especially up toward the Belleville area in Jefferson County. One of the spots still getting hardest hit right now. You can see the snowy scene there. Quite a difference compared to the area here locally. So we look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar, and here's what we're looking at. We zoom up north. There's that heavy snow. This is a recap of the last 6 hours. Look at that snow. Actually, look, we just have some snowfall reports. I'm going to look at this, Gary, real quick, because this just came in. I wonder if they updated it, because keep in mind, our update here was 24.5 inches at 7 a.m. Let's see here. Nope, still 23.5 inches in Mansville. So give or take an inch or so, generally speaking, there's been over 2 feet of snow and still expected to see more in that area throughout the afternoon. In the meantime, here locally, it's dry, it's sunny too. We'll take the sunshine, but make sure you stay warm because it's cooling down again tonight. Overnight lows, obviously wind chills near or below zero. We are looking at some more snow chances and some more significant cold this weekend. Details straight ahead. Gary?
2 feet in climbing.
Yeah, still climbing over there.
Yeah, hopefully some of those viewers from up that way can send us.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody, on this Tuesday. I think regardless of the sunshine, I think it might fool us with how cold it is outside. We look at the radar and satellite right now. Of course, we zoom in here, and there is that sustained lake effect coming off of Lake Ontario, trying to form some light snow showers in the southern valleys as well from Lake Erie. But regardless, it is a pretty intense clip of snow impacting the Tug Hill area and surrounding counties. And there's no signs of this stopping, at least until tonight, as it shifts its way north. A reminder, that snow band is not expected to shift south by any means, so the Mohawk Valley will not see any of that snow today. We will see, however, some incredible cold temperatures. And in fact, we're already seeing it right now. Wind speed still remaining pretty persistent today. They will be weakening a little bit tonight, but that feels like temperatures still remaining near or below zero. So just keep in mind that throughout the evening and tonight, make sure you, if you're heading anywhere, to dress with some extra layers. And not only is it cold right now, which is mainly due to the wind, but we're going to see more of a combination of the wind and even more Arctic temperatures as we head toward the end of the week. Now, as we enter the second half of the wintertime season, or mainly just the new year and that type of winter scenario here, the Great Lakes get colder and colder. But if the air itself also gets colder and colder, we can get still some pretty strong lake effect events, which is taking place right now. Look at this Arctic air mass over to our north. This is some incredible cold. Now, this is not anything that's, you know, we have seen this before. This happens in wintertime. Not every winter, but it does happen every few winters or so. And this is going to usher in some incredible cold once that air mass shifts its way into central New York starting this weekend. But back to the local forecast for the next few days. Still, you can see here some lake effect snow persisting north. It'll shift its way outside of the area near the Thousand Island region before eventually tapering off by Wednesday with a better shot for additional snowfall, including areas that already saw that snow up in the Tug Hill area and areas north of the Mohawk Valley. Through the evening and overnight Wednesday, early Thursday morning, a brief round of snow from a cold front, and then a few scattered snow showers Thursday afternoon before, yet again, you guessed it, lake effect returns again to the same spot. So there is going to be some incredible snow totals by the end of this event in sections of the Tug Hill Plateau. Now, this is just for the event we're seeing right now, which ends 7 a.m. Wednesday, 2 to 4 feet in the pink zone, and then a sharp contrast in areas south. So that's the snowfall we're expecting for the lake effect throughout today through Wednesday morning. But I think more importantly, we have a early preview of what takes place as we enter the weekend. Look at these wind chills, and I mean, you tell me if that appears cold to you. In the North Country, we're looking at 30 to 45 degrees below zero, wind chills 20 to 30 degrees below zero in the Mohawk Valley. Of course, western New York, a little bit warmer, but regardless, we have issued alert days for Saturday and Sunday for that intense cold. I think it's cold enough to warrant the concerns for potential freezing issues with pipes and whatnot. Maybe one of those things where we're going to start to have the faucets drip a little bit. Anything to basically make sure that things don't get frozen. We don't want them to get frozen.
Yeah, bitter.
Including yourself. Make sure you stay warm.
Smart. Eric, thanks. Well, Minneapolis meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, I know a lot of people talking about this weekend already, how cold and the winds, but we're already seeing winds today.
Yeah, and this might be a bit of a taste of what we might expect this weekend. If you think today is cold, well,
Get ready, right?
Buckle up for a colder weekend. In the meantime, so again, wind chill. I always like kind of describing this for those of you that might not tune into every broadcast, and I always want to make sure you guys are aware of how things work in meteorology, some of these complex terms or simple terms that aren't usually explained. Either way, wind chill, basically you factor in temperature and the wind. The stronger the wind speed, the colder the temperature. Those two add up to produce some colder wind chills. And needless to say, you can see here sustained winds of nearing 25 miles an hour in Syracuse, 17 miles an hour in Rome, and nearly 20 in Johnstown. That's causing those wind chills to be bitterly cold. We are still in the feels like range below zero. But I will say this. We have been seeing plenty of sun today, and I think in wintertime we see skies like this. I think it's just an instant mood improvement. You know, it's always so cloudy, it's dull, it's cold. The sun is shining, it could be cold all at once. I'll enjoy the sunshine. Nonetheless, though, a place that isn't seeing the sun is in Jefferson County, Oswego County, Lewis County, the brunt of that snow band, which is still falling right now. We zoom up here, the span of the last 6 hours, you're still seeing all that intense snow, and it's slowly shifting north, but needless to say, this is some pretty intense snow, nearing over 2 feet measured in Mansville, 2 feet heading up north here along I-81, and even more snow on the way. So today, again, in the Mohawk Valley, no snowfall expected. Some of you in the southern valleys might see some flurries from Lake Erie, but nonetheless, nothing really accumulating. Tonight, it's cold. Tomorrow, we have a few more light snow showers and more snow chances the rest of the week before an Arctic front moves in. Again, as I mentioned, if you think this is cold, we have some colder temperatures on tap. We'll dive into that forecast for you for the weekend in a couple of minutes. Gary?
Hey, Eric, thanks once again. If people are up there in that snow, send us in some photos so that we can see.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a cold one out there, a windy one, but a sunny one here in the Mohawk Valley. Not everyone, though, seeing that all too elusive sunshine. We look at the radar and satellite, a couple of spots as we zoom in to the Tug Hill Plateau here in between Oswego and Watertown. You can see some intense snow passing into the North Country, including some sections of Route 28 near Old Forge and Inlet. So some of the areas up there might still see some lingering snow. I don't think it's as intense, obviously, compared to where that dark blue is, but nonetheless, despite the heavy snow north and west, it is a cold one here across the Mohawk Valley. Temperatures on paper in the teens, winds still incredibly strong today. That feels like temperature remaining near or below zero through this evening and for tonight. So a very cold middle of the week here. And in fact, the reason for this intense snow is all driven in by a strong area of Arctic air to our north. This is a pretty notable event here, and sometimes it might sweep south a little bit, influence us in terms of lake effect snow, clipper systems, but regardless, what it's really doing right now is going to be pushing in and producing some very cold Arctic temperatures into our area by this weekend. I mentioned all throughout the morning and throughout the broadcast today that this is really nothing astronomically unusual, but it doesn't happen every winter time, and it's a reminder that we do get cold this time of year, sometimes bitterly cold like what we're going to be seeing this weekend. So lake effect still lingers north. It does not shift south at all, remains outside of the Mohawk Valley. So no whiteouts expected for evening commute if you're on the thruway or anywhere south of the border of Oneida County in Lewis County. Then tomorrow it starts out dry and sunny. We have some light snow working in the afternoon and evening, remaining pretty quiet relatively until early Thursday. A cold front moves through. We have a better opportunity actually explain this a little bit better here. So Wednesday has a lighter snow chance, a more widespread, meaning everyone will see it type scenario. Thursday, we have scattered, heavier snow showers. So we'll see some sunshine. We'll see some rounds of snow, then sunshine again to kind of, if that it makes a lot more sense. But either way, that heavy snow returns again to its familiar spot in the Tug Hill Plateau heading into Friday morning. So this is the snowfall forecast until 7 a.m. Wednesday, or 7 a.m. tomorrow. We still have 2 to 4 feet expected in that pink zone. Already 2 feet have fallen in some of those zones, with more still falling right now. So that's the current situation here in sections of the Tug Hill Plateau. Then, following that, as we head into the weekend, this is a look at some of those feels-like temperatures. Wind chill forecast for this weekend. 20 to 30 degrees below zero Saturday morning, 30 to 45 below up in the Adirondacks. So you're going to want to make sure you dress accordingly, make sure you have your pipes all situated. Of course, there's a lot of things you can look online, and potentially resources we'll have later this week on our website on what to do when we have temperatures that cold.
Yeah, we have the dog days of summer. What do we have now?
Is there a term for the dog days of wintertime?
Brutal.
Brutal winter.
One word, yeah. Eric, thanks. Well, it's one of the greatest rivalries and
forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis, dealing with those cold temperatures, of course, the ice down there. But another thing we got a lot of tonight, northern lights.
Yeah, they came out in a flurry today, and we caught them as they were happening, and I kind of announced it all across the region, and we got a whole bunch of pictures. Now, this is what we saw here on Smith Hill, and I want to say, you know, we got a lot of people that will say, well, hey, you can't see it with the naked eye.
You and I did.
We did.
We both saw it.
Yeah.
The first time for me.
Yeah, this was very visible. I mean, it wasn't as bright as in this photo, but it was very visible. And they can sometimes come out like that. We had a lot of great pictures here that a lot of viewers were sending in as well, and some great colors we'll show you here a little bit later in the newscast. Let's talk about the cold. It's dry, it's cold, heavy snow fell north today across the Tug Hill, but we've been dry, and we're going to hold on to dry weather at least for the short term. Current temperature is only 12, feels like 4. The wind has actually backed off a bit compared to what we were seeing earlier today. Could see a brief snow shower to the north, but the big story is the cold. We're down into the single digits tonight. We're expecting a return to snow tomorrow, but down the road for the weekend, we've got some pretty serious level cold to talk about. We've got alert days for both Saturday and Sunday. We've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Federal officials.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It's cold tonight. Temperatures have dropped into the single digits. Some clouds are on the way, which will help temperatures from falling as much tonight. We're still tracking some heavy lake effect snow that falls to the north across Watertown and into the northern Tug Hill. Some heavy bands of snow continue in this region, and they've been seeing several feet of snow throughout the course of the last 24 hours. More pictures of the northern lights to show you as we expect the weather to be dry tonight. This picture from Jessica Carpenter in Oneonta. Another one by Ashley in Little Falls. It started out as this big green curtain, and then it kind of expanded. We saw a lot of pillars, lots and lots of color, and again, it was bright enough where you didn't need to see a phone to see them. And again, we also send out alerts, which we did tonight, that when the northern lights are out, it's another way you can track them. You can download our Stern Tracker 2 weather app. It's cold tomorrow. It's just not as cold as today throughout the whole day. We start out in the single digits. We'll climb into the low 20s. Again, still a cold day. Comparatively, though, a step in the right direction. Radar and satellite image. Heavy snow continues to fall to the north. That's where it will stay. Our next weather maker approaches from the west. It's an Alberta Clipper, something we're very familiar with here in central New York. So bring us some light snow tomorrow. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop into the teens and single digits. Tomorrow starts out dry. Some light snow arrives in the afternoon and evening. It falls steadiest north of the Mohawk Valley. Temperatures climb into the mid-20s. Tomorrow night, on and off snow showers. We'll see a few more of these on Thursday. Thursday looks like the warmest day of the next 7. We climb into the low 30s before an Arctic blast arrives heading into the weekend. As far as snow goes, tomorrow it's generally light. We're thinking a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Heading north of the Mohawk Valley, 3 to 7 inches of snow. Again, some of this snow comes from what we call upslope snow, some orographic lift off of a south wind. A trace to an inch of snow south of the Mohawk Valley. So again, relatively minor accumulations, but enough to make things slippery from time to time, especially along those hilltops north of the Mohawk Valley. Partly cloudy tonight, low of 2. Tomorrow, we start out dry, snow develops in the afternoon, temperatures in the mid-20s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Snow showers Thursday, Friday. The Arctic air is here for the weekend. It is going to be bone-chilling cold. What you're seeing there is the air temperature. You factor in the wind, it's going to feel much, much colder than that. 20, 30, maybe even 40 below zero is what it will feel like in the Adirondacks Saturday morning. We've got 2 days of this intense cold, and then it starts to back off by Monday and Tuesday.
TBH, as the kids would say. When it's feeling like minus 20, can you tell when it's minus 20 or minus 30? Boy, it's even colder than it was 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's going to be cold, bottom line. All right, thanks, Bill. I'll leave you this story, temperatures, making it tough to fight fires. But it also, there were no clouds earlier.
Yeah.
And that made for a great sight outside today.
Yeah, we got a chance to see the northern lights. There's a big solar storm that was happening right before sunset, and we were fortunate enough to be able to see the kind of the carryover to that. Mm-hmm. We saw this with our naked eye. We didn't need the camera. You know,
Bill called right in the middle of the show in a commercial break. Jay, you got to get out here.
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
And it's pretty neat. I mean, a lot of times you have to use the camera, but sometimes you don't. We have more photos to show you here too throughout the newscast. We will in a few minutes. But again, it was nice to see that. The lights could still come out tonight, but I think we're kind of past the best ingredients for that. We are tracking clear skies, at least for the time being. There are some lake effect clouds that are working in from the west, and we'll see a few of those here tonight. Snow, though, stays to the north, and we do expect a dry night. Current temperature 13 degrees. It's cold. The winds have gone light, which is good. We've been dealing with a wind chill throughout most of the day. Single digits tonight in areas that see clear skies. Light snow returns tomorrow afternoon. We've got an Arctic blast on the way for the weekend. If you think today was cold, we've got much colder weather arriving Saturday and Sunday. Partly cloudy tonight. Temperatures drop down into the single digits to low teens. We are tracking our next round of snow for late tomorrow. A look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Federal officials.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. Cold night tonight. Temperatures in the teens and single digits. The wind chill has spent most of the day below zero. And we're going to see some colder weather in our future. We do get a little bit of a break over the next couple of days in terms of the cold. Won't be quite as cold for the next 2 days. So live look at the airfield battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We're continuing to keep an eye on some heavy lake effect snow that's falling now in the Watertown region. It's been in the Tug Hill for most of the day. We've seen feet of snow in the last 24 hours in the Tug Hill. This band of snow will continue to stay north of the new Channel 2 viewing area. A couple of other photos to show you from the Northern Lights. This was taken this evening in Oneonta from Jessica Carpenter. Again, some beautiful pillars showing up this evening too. This is from Ashley in Little Falls. Again, a nice view. Actually, one of the better shows that we've had in a couple of years here. And just a reminder, we send out weather information on the go. You can also get information on when the Northern Lights come out. If we see them here on Smith Hill, we'll send a push alert. We did that today when they came out at around 6:15 this evening. Hopefully they'll give you a better chance to see them if you're looking for that. Cold weather tomorrow morning. We're still in the single digits to below zero with the wind chill, and we do climb into the 20s in the afternoon. So still a cold day, just not as cold as today. And we're expecting some light snow to break out. As we look to the west, we have a familiar clipper on the way. We've had a lot of these this winter. This one will approach from the west tomorrow, bringing us light snow. Tonight, overnight lows drop into the single digits to low teens. We're expecting some sunshine briefly tomorrow morning. Clouds will arrive in the afternoon. Some light snow breaks out. The light snow continues throughout tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. It falls steadiest north of the Mohawk Valley. Temperatures climb into the low 30s here for Thursday. Scattered snow showers expected. And another burst of snow late in the day as an Arctic front arrives. But for snowfall tomorrow, we're thinking a general 1 to 3 inches of accumulation for the Mohawk Valley, a trace to an inch of snow south of the Mohawk Valley. But in this zone, north of the valley, we're getting some upslope snow. 3 to 7 inches of accumulation is expected. And that could be the spot where we could see some slippery, some tricky travel, slippery roads expected tomorrow late in the day. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 2. Tomorrow, snow develops late, 25. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Snow Thursday, some snow showers as an Arctic front arrives at a high temperature of 32. Lake effect snow showers Friday. It's cold and windy, but the bottom falls out over the weekend. We've got back-to-back alert days because of the intensity of the cold. Those are air temperatures in the single digits. The wind chills at night, 20, 30, maybe 40 below zero. I mean, it's going to be nasty.
Once you get below 20, doesn't it all just feel cold?
It's a matter of how quickly you get cold, really.
And quickly you get cold and get frostbite. That's
Right.
the big concern.
Exactly, yes.
All right, thank you, Bill. Coming up next.